What would you do if the man your wife was cheating with was the same homeless man you gave money to every single day? I never thought I would find myself asking that question, let alone living the answer. The night everything broke was a Tuesday, 2 a.m. The cold blue glow of her phone screen illuminating her face as she typed furiously, a secretive smile playing on her lips. My heart hammered against my ribs, a silent alarm blaring in the suffocating darkness of our bedroom. I knew with a chilling certainty that my perfect life was about to shatter into a million irreparable pieces, and the man responsible was someone I had tried to help. If you genuinely enjoy our stories, please subscribe to the channel. Tell us where you're from and what time it is right now. It's always fascinating to know how far our story flows. The humiliation hit me first, a tidal wave of nausea that threatened to drown me. Not just the betrayal, but the sheer audacity, the grotesque irony of it all. My wife of 15 years was having an affair, and her lover. He was the gaunt figure I saw every morning on the corner of Michigan Avenue and Wacker Drive. The one I always slipped a $20 bill to, sometimes a coffee, a silent acknowledgement of shared humanity. His name was Mark, or so I thought. Her behavior had been subtly shifting for months, late nights at work events that never quite added up, a new expensive perfume that wasn't for me, the way she'd flinch if I touched her phone, or how she'd suddenly become obsessed with her appearance, not for our date nights, but for her early morning jogs. I dismissed it, told myself I was being paranoid, that Sarah loved me. We lived in a beautiful brownstone in Lincoln Park, our careers thriving, our future seemingly secure. I was a senior architect, she a marketing executive. We had everything, or so I believed. The slow discovery was agonizing. It started with a receipt for a cheap motel in the outskirts of the city, tucked into her gym bag. Then, a text message notification I glimpsed on her phone while she was in the shower. Can't wait for tomorrow, my love. The sender was unsaved, just a number. My hands trembled as I memorized it, then deleted the notification from her lock screen. I felt like a detective in my own home, sifting through clues, each one a shard of glass piercing my soul. Sarah became cold, distant. Her eyes, once warm and inviting, now held a calculating glint. She'd snap at me for trivial things, accuse me of being clingy, of not trusting her. She was building a wall brick by brick, and I was on the outside, watching my world crumble. She made me feel like I was the problem, that my suspicions were unfounded, a sign of my own insecurity. She was a master manipulator, twisting every conversation, every interaction, until I questioned my own sanity. The affair partner, Mark, seemed to grow bolder. I'd see him sometimes, not just on his usual corner, but lurking near our office building, a smug look on his face as he watched Sarah leave. He felt untouchable, protected by Sarah's deception, emboldened by my unwitting charity. I remember one night, sitting alone in our living room, the city lights twinkling outside like mocking stars. I felt utterly broken, hollowed out. The man who had once been confident, successful, and loved was now a shell, consumed by grief and rage. I cried until there were no more tears, until only a cold, hard resolve remained. This wasn't just about betrayal anymore. It was about dignity, about justice. I wouldn't just leave. I would make them pay. My revenge began subtly. I started gathering proof, meticulously. I hired a private investigator, a quiet man named Frank, who specialized in discretion. He provided me with photos, videos, timestamps, and hotel records. I installed discreet cameras in my car, capturing Sarah dropping Mark off blocks from our home, sometimes even sharing a quick, illicit kiss. I tracked her credit card statements, finding charges for expensive dinners and gifts, not for me, but for him. I even managed to clone her phone, gaining access to their sickeningly sweet messages, their plans, their sordid details. The evidence mounted, a mountain of undeniable truth. Then came the traps. I was an architect, a planner, a builder of structures. Now, I was building their downfall. I started by subtly shifting assets, ensuring that in a divorce, Sarah would be left with far less than she anticipated. I consulted with a ruthless divorce attorney, a woman known for her surgical precision in dismantling lives. We discussed every legal loophole, every possible angle. Socially, I began to plant seeds of doubt among our mutual friends. Not outright accusations, but carefully worded concerns about Sarah's recent behavior. Her stress, her unusual hours. I made sure to mention my daily charity to the homeless man on Michigan Avenue, painting myself as the benevolent husband, making her eventual exposure even more shocking. The public exposure was orchestrated with chilling precision. Sarah had a major presentation scheduled for a new client, a high-profile event at the Peninsula Hotel in downtown Chicago. Attended by industry leaders, our friends, and her entire department, I arrived unannounced, a USB drive in my pocket. During the Q&A session, I stood up, calmly thanked her for her presentation, and then, with a voice that barely wavered, I projected the compiled evidence onto the main screen. Photos of Sarah and Mark entering motels, videos of their embraces, screenshots of their explicit texts, even a recording of Sarah mocking me to Mark, calling me the naive fool who funds our dates. The room erupted. Her face, initially a mask of confusion, contorted into horror, then pure, unadulterated panic. Her career, her reputation, her carefully constructed facade, all crumbled in an instant. The divorce was swift and brutal. The evidence was overwhelming. She lost everything: her job, her social standing, most of her assets, and the respect of everyone she knew. Mark, exposed and humiliated, vanished back into the shadows, his smugness replaced by fear. Sarah was completely ruined, a pariah in the city she once dominated. I saw her once months later, walking alone down a desolate street, her expensive clothes replaced by cheap, ill-fitting garments, her eyes hollow. She didn't see me, and I didn't acknowledge her. My revenge was complete, but it brought no joy, only a profound, unsettling emptiness. The silence that followed was deafening, a cold, haunting echo of a life that once was. The end.